Sex. The West loves talking about sex in Japan, usually about how little of it Japanese people are supposedly having. And yet, Japan is also one of the world's biggest producers of adult videos, so clearly someone's doing something. But what's the reality actually like? It's not like sex gets covered in language classes or culture books. Even people who come to Japan and have a few experiences here are only seeing a small piece of a much bigger picture. Despite studying the language, culture, and history of Japan before ever setting foot here, I still found myself surprised by quite a few things once I actually got to the down and dirty. So tonight, I want to talk about a few things about sex in Japan that genuinely caught me off guard. It's late. You're curious. Let's talk. Turn off the lights, turn up the volume, and welcome to Midnight Sakura. Number 1. The expectation of showers before and afterwards. In the West, we're used to a hot and heavy makeout session, naturally leading to more. However, one thing that immediately surprised me about sex in Japan was that despite how intense the foreplay got, before things could really progress, they'd hit the brakes and insist on both of us taking a shower, usually separately. She usually went first, which meant that I'd be left hanging, pun intended. While waiting, she'd finish, I'd take the quickest shower of my life, and then we'd pick up where we left off. As far as I can tell, it's customary to make sure that your body is as clean as possible before exposing someone else to it. If this seems like it might kill the vibes, well, honestly, it sort of does. At first, I did feel like it took us out of the moment, but after living here for a while, not only have I gotten used to the pregame shower, I actually prefer it. Especially in the summer months. Japan gets very hot and humid, and even if you showered before you left the house, you will be suffering sweaty balls after being outside for 10 seconds. I'd rather not inflict that on any woman. The post-game shower is to wash away sweat and whatever other bodily fluids might have accumulated during the act. For many couples, sex happens outside of the home, which means that after doing the deed, you still have to go back home. And no one wants to be riding a packed train smelling like sex. Speaking of sex happening outside of the home, that leads to number 2. Love hotels are often preferred, even if home is an option. In Japan, moving out of the home isn't considered semi-mandatory once one turns 18. As such, many singles do live at home with their parents until they are ready to move in with a spouse or a long-term partner. Living at home, of course, means that sex at home is difficult, if not impossible. But even for those living alone, sex at home may not be the most attractive choice. Sometimes, the problem is simply logistics. For example, while I live in the middle of Tokyo, if I were dating someone who lived in Saitama, for example, which is a popular choice for people working in Tokyo, it may take her 2 to 3 trains and over an hour to reach my place. However, if we picked a location in the middle to meet up, it would be more convenient for her. Less trains, less travel time. Also, if you do meet up somewhere more central, going home together is generally not realistic. It may take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get there. And riding on crowded public trains isn't exactly conducive to keeping the sexy mood intact. The time restraints also means that for her to get back home that night, you'd probably only have an hour or 2 at most before she'd have to scramble to leave and catch her train home. Utilizing a nearby love hotel is far more convenient and practical. There are also privacy concerns with having sex at home. Although less so in major cities, for people living in the suburbs, things can be rather close-knit, and gossip spreads like wildfire. When I first came to Japan, I lived in the countryside. The first time I brought a girl back to my place over the weekend, one woman who worked in City Hall happened to see us together. One woman. When I went to work the following Monday, literally everyone was asking me about my new girlfriend. Even before going to work, getting on the bus to go to work Monday morning, the bus driver smiled at me and said, "Hey, I heard you got a girlfriend." Additionally, a lot of people, especially women, become more self-conscious when having sex in a home. While modern buildings are a lot better, Japanese apartments aren't always soundproofed, so there's a very real chance that sex sounds will be overheard by the neighbors. Love hotels also come with the convenience of being made for that purpose. They have big, comfortable beds, numerous amenities, and the best part, no matter how messy things get, you don't have to worry about cleaning the sheets or anything else afterwards. Shoutouts to Love Hotel cleaning staff. You're doing God's work. This combination of factors often means that it's just easier to utilize a Love Hotel rather than trying to take a date back home. If you do find yourself utilizing Love Hotels, you may run into number 3. Many women don't like paying for them. Even Japanese society is becoming more progressive, which means that there are more women willing to pay for some or even half of their share of the date. In some cases, I've had women absolutely refuse me paying for them, insisting on paying their own way. Despite that, even among women who pay for their own meals, event tickets, or whatever, the vast majority do not like to contribute anything towards the Love Hotel expenses. It's still seen as something the guy is expected to cover. Many of these women have told me that they just wouldn't feel right paying for the Love Hotel, like she'd be paying to have sex. Considering that I now work as an erotic massage therapist and actually do get paid for that, the irony is not lost on me. As a result, if a guy goes on a date and wants to utilize a Love Hotel afterwards, he's got to make sure that he's got the budget for it. Love Hotels usually charge by the hour. There'll be a fixed rate for a 2-hour stay, and then additional charges for any time that goes over. Weekday afternoons are the cheapest, with nights and weekends being the most expensive. Hotels within the city will be the most expensive, while those located in further out locations will be cheaper. Much like other aspects of the date, the hotel budget and quality must be balanced. There are some really nice, fancy Love Hotels out there, but they can be really expensive. On the flip side, while there are cheap hotels out there, they tend to be old, with questionable sanitation. A guy doesn't necessarily need to pull out all the stops for a fancy hotel, but he should avoid going cheap at the expense of quality. Due to this, even for a normal relationship, the prospect of having sex with your girlfriend can hit the wallet kind of hard. Many guys will have to juggle whether or not they want to take their girlfriend to a Love Hotel or use that money in other ways. If he's not financially well off, it may be the choice between getting laid or keeping the lights in his apartment on. Love Hotels are wonderfully convenient locations. Did you know that many Love Hotels will have complimentary condoms on hand? But whether or not you can actually use them is my number 4. Standard Japanese condom sizes are kinda small. This is something I was actually warned about before even setting foot on Japanese soil. Before coming to Japan, I took part in several orientation sessions, and afterwards, when talking to the male moderators who had lived in Japan before, a common warning was to bring our own condoms, as Japan was quite lacking in this regard. Just keeping it 100, but having actually tried Japanese condoms, yeah, they are kind of small. I've talked to women who say that it shouldn't matter, who point out the instructional videos that show condoms being put on things like bananas or cucumbers. And yeah, while condoms do stretch, in order to ensure that they stay on while stretched, they tend to want to return to their original shape. With that shape being small, it creates a squeezing sensation that takes priority over all others. Basically, if the glove don't fit, you cannot hit. Japan does have large-sized condoms. In particular, one brand is called Big Boy and features on the package a picture of a horse. Wow, Japan, not beating around the bush on this one, are you? I would have loved to have sit in for the marketing meeting on that one. And if that wasn't on the nose enough, there actually is an even bigger size called Mega Big Boy. Would you like to guess what animal features on the cover of these? Yep, that's right, an elephant. You earned that marketing MBA from Tokyo University, Tanaka-san. Although the larger sized condoms do exist, you generally won't find them in convenience stores, nor are they part of the complimentary condoms that are found in Love Hotels. So for a guy for whom the standard Japanese sizes aren't quite up to the task, if he suddenly has surprise sex thrust upon him, he'd better be prepared in advance. And if you do find yourself in a sexual situation, you may be curious about what the woman actually sounds like. That brings me to my number 5. To come is to go, and stop means don't. This one is more of a language difference more than anything. In English, when about to orgasm, we say, I'm gonna come, or I'm coming. In Japanese, the word for orgasm is iku, which also means to go. For example, if you wanted to say, I'm going to Tokyo in Japanese, that would be Tokyo e iku. If your partner starts saying iku, iku, they're not talking about going to the convenience store down the road. But another word or set of words you might hear is used quite differently, and not just in language syntax. Many women, as they are building to orgasm, may say something like dame or yamete kudasai, which translated directly means no and please stop. Contrary to what you just heard, this means don't stop, keep doing exactly what you're doing. As far as I can tell, the context here is no, stop. If you keep doing that, I'm going to come. Not that, hey, don't make me come, makes any more sense, but hey, who said any of this is supposed to make sense? The first time I ever encountered this, when she said dame, I stopped and asked if everything was all right. She looked up at me, puzzled, and said, yeah, everything's fine. Keep going. We resumed, and this time she said, yamete kudasai. I stopped as requested, or so I thought, and got another puzzled look from her. Why'd you stop? She asked. Well, you told me to stop. You're not actually supposed to stop, she explained. It just means that it feels so good that if you don't stop, I'm going to come. Isn't that what you want? Yes, but don't take the word so literally. I learned more about Japanese culture in these 30 minutes than I did in 4 years of university classes. And to make things even more confusing, sometimes the words do mean what they're supposed to. So if you get the feeling that she's about to go somewhere, but then she tells you to stop, well, it'll be your judgment call, but chances are she actually wants the ride to continue. Speaking of sounds during sex, that leads me to my number 6. No, women don't sound the way they do in adult videos. Mostly. This is something I get asked about quite a lot, and see quite a bit of discussion about online. This is truly the epitome of your mileage may vary. I have been with women who had seductive sensual sounds, and women where, well, I was tempted to stop and ask if she was okay, and hand her tissues for the perceived crying. And even women who actually, literally screamed. For one in particular, during the act I heard police sirens, and I was actually a little afraid that someone in the neighborhood had called the police on us. As someone who has done adult videos, what I can tell you about the sounds women make in those videos is that they are highly exaggerated. Even if the actress actually is enjoying herself, she's been instructed to over-exaggerate her reactions for effect. Your average woman is usually a lot more muted. So, the things you see in adult videos are unrealistic? Well, color me shocked. That'll be a wrap for tonight. The sun may be rising, but night always comes back around, and with it more time to talk and more stories to share. See you next time.